Welcome to Relaxed Reddit Readings. Today we have 4 Reddit stories for you. Reddit stories that made me question everything. Story 1. My sister gave a stranger our grandmother's address. So my sister just put our elderly grandmother in serious danger, and now my family's mad at me for snitching. Let me explain this mess. I'm 28. My sister's 25, and she recently moved back into our grandparents' house to save money. We live in different states now, so I don't see what goes on day to day. About a month ago, I was visiting my great-grandmother for her birthday. While I was there, she asked me to turn off my sister's iPad because it had been making notification sounds all day. When I picked it up, several message notifications popped up on the screen. One message from some random man said he was going to come to the house to see her. I couldn't help but see it, you know. So naturally, I was concerned and asked my sister about it. She told me she'd been talking to this guy online for about 2 weeks, and yeah, she'd given him our grandmother's address. I was like, are you insane? Our grandmother is 85 years old and lives alone most of the time. This is literally the most unsafe thing you could possibly do. I told her she needed to stop talking to this guy immediately and block him everywhere. She promised me she would, said she understood it was dangerous. But here's where it gets worse. A few days later, I saw she was still active on the dating apps. When I confronted her about it, she got all defensive and said she was being careful now. Being careful? After giving a complete stranger our vulnerable grandmother's address? I was so frustrated and worried about our grandmother's safety that I decided to tell our parents what happened. I figured they needed to know so they could help keep grandma safe and maybe talk some sense into my sister. Well, my sister found out I told them and now she's furious with me. She's saying I betrayed her trust and that she's an adult who can make her own decisions. Our parents are kind of split on it too. They're glad I told them because they're worried about grandma, but they also think I should have given my sister more time to handle it herself. But honestly, this isn't about my sister's dating life or her privacy. This is about the safety of our 85-year-old grandmother who's living alone with some random guy from the internet knowing exactly where to find her. My sister clearly wasn't handling it since she was still on dating apps after promising to stop. I keep thinking about all the horror stories you hear about online predators and elderly people being targeted. What if this guy had shown up and something terrible happened? I'd never forgive myself for staying quiet. But now I'm wondering if I jumped the gun. Maybe I should have given her more time to prove she was really going to be more careful. Maybe I should have tried talking to her again before going to our parents. The thing is, when it comes to someone's safety, especially someone as vulnerable as our grandmother, I don't think you can be too cautious. But my sister feels like I went behind her back and violated her trust. Am I wrong here? If you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and let me know in the comments which story you relate to the most. Story 2. I let my coworker think my sister is dead. So I accidentally let my coworker believe my sister is dead for 2 months, and now I don't know how to fix this incredibly awkward situation. A couple weeks ago, I went back to the office for the first time after 2 months of working remotely. I have to admit, when I don't get out of the house for a while, I get really out of practice socially, and it can be super awkward readjusting when I'm back around people. On my lunch break, I ran into this woman who works on our floor, and she mentioned something about her late sister. Without thinking, I responded that I also have a late sister, and that it makes it hard to be around families sometimes. She was really sweet about it, very understanding and sympathetic. Here's the thing though, my sister isn't dead. She's just always late to everything. Like, chronically, annoyingly late. When I said late sister, I meant it in the sense that she's never on time, but this woman obviously interpreted it as my sister had passed away. The conversation moved on, and by the time I realized what had happened, it felt way too weird to correct it. Like, how do you even say, oh wait, actually my sister's not dead, she just has terrible time management skills. So I just let it slide, thinking I probably wouldn't talk to this coworker much anyway since we work on different projects. But now, every time I see her, she gives me these really sympathetic looks and asks how I'm doing in this really gentle, caring way. She's even brought me coffee a couple times and left little encouraging notes on my desk. She's being incredibly kind, and it's making me feel absolutely terrible because she's wasting all this emotional energy on something that isn't even real. The worst part was last week when she invited me to some grief support group that meets at her church. She said it really helped her when she lost her sister, and maybe it would help me too. I had to come up with some excuse about not being ready for that kind of thing yet, and she was so understanding about it. I felt like such a fraud. I've been trying to figure out how to tell her the truth without making it seem like I was intentionally lying or making light of her actual loss. Because she really did lose her sister, and here I am letting her think we have this shared trauma when really I was just complaining about my sister's punctuality issues. But every time I think about bringing it up, I imagine how embarrassing it would be for both of us. She's been so genuinely caring, and I'd basically be telling her that all her kindness has been based on a misunderstanding. Plus, what if she thinks I was making fun of her grief this whole time? I definitely wasn't, but I can see how it might come across that way. Part of me thinks maybe I should just keep letting her believe it and eventually we'll stop interacting as much. But that feels really wrong too, especially since she's going out of her way to be supportive. And what if someone mentions my very much alive sister in front of her someday? The longer this goes on, the worse it's going to be when the truth comes out. Should I just bite the bullet and tell her what really happened? Story 3. My coworker made me cry over my nose job. So I just made my coworker cry by mocking her nose job, but honestly, she had it coming after months of her bullying me. I'm working long-term in Korea and got hired at a company that's all Korean employees except me. There's this one particular coworker who was really nice to me at first, until I showed her a picture of my boyfriend one day. He's also Korean, and I swear something switched in her after that moment. From that day forward, she started being really snarky toward me. At first, she'd comment on the food I'd eat, like, "Wow, you're eating all of that? That's a lot of calories." But as time went on, the comments got more personal and cruel. She'd make remarks about how I dress, saying things like my clothes don't fit Korean beauty standards. She'd comment on my appearance constantly, always with this fake sweet smile like she was just being helpful. The worst part was she'd do it in front of other coworkers, and they'd just laugh along awkwardly. I started dreading going to work because I never knew what she'd say next. It was affecting my confidence and my performance because I was always on edge around her. I tried to brush it off at first, thinking maybe it was a cultural thing I wasn't understanding, but it became clear she was just being mean. Then one day, she made a comment about my nose, saying something like at least some of us are born with good features. That was my breaking point. I'd been putting up with her comments for months, trying to be the bigger person, but I was done. So I looked her straight in the eye and said, "Yeah, and some of us don't need to pay thousands of dollars to fix our faces like you did." The room went completely silent. She'd had a nose job before I started working there, which was pretty obvious, and apparently not everyone knew about it. She immediately teared up and ran to the bathroom. Some of my other coworkers looked shocked, and a few of them told me I went too far. But here's the thing, she'd been making comments about my appearance for months. She'd been systematically trying to tear down my confidence and make me feel bad about myself. The moment someone gives her a taste of her own medicine, suddenly I'm the bad guy. I found out later that she's been talking behind my back to other coworkers, saying really nasty things about me and my relationship. Apparently, she's been jealous that I'm dating a Korean guy and has been trying to make my life miserable because of it. Some of my coworkers actually came up to me afterward and said they were glad someone finally stood up to her because she's been mean to other people too. But others think I should apologize because I made her cry and brought up something she's probably insecure about. The thing is, I'm not sorry. I'm tired of being expected to just take abuse and smile about it. She created a hostile work environment for me for months, and the one time I defend myself, I'm supposed to feel bad about it. I tried being nice, I tried ignoring her, and nothing worked. Sometimes you have to speak someone's language for them to understand how their behavior affects others. Am I wrong here? Story 4. Found a starving cat, now neighbor wants her back. So there's this cat that I've basically rescued, and now some neighbor is claiming she's theirs, but I'm not buying it. About a month ago, this cat started showing up on my balcony. She had no collar, was super skinny, like you could see her ribs through her fur. It was heartbreaking. At first, I just started leaving some food out because I felt bad for her. But she kept coming back, and she was clearly hungry and desperate. After a few days, I started letting her inside, and now she basically lives with me. I did the right thing though. I posted in a couple local Facebook groups and neighborhood apps asking if anyone was missing a cat. I described her and everything. No one responded. Not a single person claimed her for an entire month. I even walked around the neighborhood looking for any missing cat flyers. Nothing. So I figured she was either abandoned or a stray, and I started thinking of her as mine. I named her Luna, got her some proper food, toys, a little bed. She's put on weight and looks so much healthier now. Yesterday, this woman from 2 doors down knocks on my door and says it's probably her cat that got out and she wants her back. But here's what's suspicious about this whole thing: the cat had no collar when I found her, looked like she was starving, and this woman didn't put up a single flyer anywhere in a whole month. If your beloved pet went missing, wouldn't you be searching everywhere for them? Wouldn't you put up flyers, post on social media, ask neighbors? She claimed she was looking, but I never saw any signs of it. I told her I'd already taken the cat to the vet, gotten her vaccinated, and basically rescued her from what looked like abandonment or neglect. The woman got really upset and said I had no right to keep her cat. But she couldn't even provide any proof that Luna was hers, no photos, no vet records, nothing. She just kept saying, probably, and, I think, when describing the cat. That doesn't sound like someone who knows their own pet very well. The thing is, Luna seems perfectly happy with me. When the neighbor tried to pick her up, Luna actually hissed and tried to get away from her. If this was really her loving home, wouldn't the cat be excited to see her owner again after a month? Instead, Luna ran straight back to me and seemed scared of this woman. I offered to pay for any vet bills or expenses the woman might have had for the cat, but I told her I wasn't giving Luna back. I've bonded with this cat, and more importantly, I actually take care of her. Luna was clearly not being properly cared for when I found her, whether through neglect or abandonment. Now the neighbor is threatening to call animal control or take legal action. She's also gotten some other neighbors involved, and apparently, there's drama brewing in the neighborhood group chat about it. Some people think I should give the cat back because she might be the original owner, but others are saying if you let your cat roam around without a collar for a month without looking for it properly, you've basically abandoned it. What would you have done? If you enjoyed these stories, drop a comment telling me which one was your favorite. And if you want more relaxed Reddit readings, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, like, comment and subscribe for more relaxed Reddit readings.